Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome back to Fairfield Today. I'm Paul Chasson. Thank you for joining us. We'll have a little different stretch here as we get to this segment of the show. It's always fun to talk about great events around Lancaster and Fairfield County, and I think the ones we just gone through, the Lancaster Festival, it kind of came back. We got to have that again. Coming up soon in another month or so is the Fairfield County Fair, and it's going to be wide open and great fun there as it always is. But one of the events that in the last 25, 26 years that is a kind of small beginnings, but now just blossomed into a huge event, and it's coming up this weekend, is the Backwoods Fest up in Thornville, Ohio. And our guest on this is a young lady. We'd like to have her on because she is kind of the director, the landowner, the big cheese up there at the Backwoods Fest, Kathy Launder. Kathy, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
We missed you last year.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Missed you.
Well, it was, and we can start off by talking about that. Here you were all set to have your big event, and then by the time it got close to September, when you guys would have had it, I'm sure you knew well in advance that this was not going to come off because things started falling in January and February. So by September, you knew it was a done deal.
Yeah, it was a few months before that, really.
Yeah,
they were.
Still a hard call to make?
Yep, absolutely, because I had, 300 plus vendors that
I was going to say you had everything
I had
lined
their money
up
and wanted to do it, and
Yeah.
we had to refund all that, and
But
it was
it's
sad.
just, when you've done it for, like, say, 24, 25, 26 years, however we look at it, with nothing last year, it's hard to make that call, even though you knew it was the right call to make, I'm sure, and even though you had to make it and there was just no question about it. Still a difficult one after you've done it this many years.
definitely was.
Yeah.
But we knew we had to do it. We didn't want disobey rules and regs, and didn't want people sick from coming out, but it was very tough and heartbreaking and a few tears.
I tell people the first time when this all started going, they start talking about it early in the year, and you hear things and this is like the flu, it'll be over for long. But then I saw the governor canceled the Arnold Classic, and I thought, this is really big, because that is the city's big deal up there. So when that happened, I thought, all gloves are off now. Anything can happen. And so as the months went on, through you guys, through the festival and the fair, everything around here was just gone. It was an unusual year. So now we fast forward to this year, and you probably got started on it early on again, getting your vendors, and everybody was probably really anxious this year, weren't they?
Had no problem getting vendors.
Yeah.
Of course, there was a few that decided to retire after sitting out a year, but I probably got more than enough with new vendors coming in.
Are we talking hundreds?
Oh, over 300 vendors this year.
300 vendors.
Way over 300, yes.
So we look at it as arts, craft, food, and music.
Yes.
What could be better? I mean, you've covered everything
That's
there.
right.
I mean, if you're one of the few people that have never been out there, it's absolutely a hoot to go to. It is just a fun event out in God's country.
The woods.
Yeah. How many acres?
Show grounds probably, I don't know, 50?
50.
Maybe. Nah, it's probably a little.
40
just actual
plus.
show. Yes.
Yeah,
and then
40 plus.
50, 80, I don't know, acres of parking.
Now, when you started this early on, was it a quarter the size it is now, half the size?
Oh, absolutely. A
Really?
quarter of it, yes.
It's really gone.
Yes.
And I think that's a credit to you and your team and people just having a great weekend out there, because it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this year, 8 to 6 on Friday and Saturday, 8 to 5 on Sunday, and it's just a blast out there. You guys have so much fun.
We're one of the few festivals that have breakfast. People come for breakfast, come for church service.
When you talk about the food, anything, and I know the food, we won't go into all of them because you have so many, but
Right.
is anything that hits you that you like to talk about? I know you were just talking to the sheriff a little bit ago about that, and he's got his favorites, and
Yeah. I don't have a favorite. I have to
play the field.
play the field, but I think guests like the kettle cooked soups, the bean soup.
That's kind of what I envision. You see that picture of the big kettle with the beans being prepared in it.
Yes. And the vegetable soup. We do a vegetable soup in a bread bowl.
Yeah. And crafts, it's almost anything goes on crafts, isn't it?
Absolutely. Wood crafts, jewelry crafts, locked clothing, pottery, on and on. We definitely ask the vendors to handcrafted, buy them. Don't bring bought stuff.
Sure.
We try hard.
And they come from all over?
We have them from like 16, 17 states coming in this year.
Really?
We're known. Crafters here, that's a great show.
And people are in attendance.
Yes.
Do you have a way of tracking attendance on that?
It is a paid admission show.
How much?
$10 adults, 10 and under free with free parking.
Free parking. And that's a big part of it because, like you say, you have probably almost as big a parking lot as you do grounds.
Oh, bigger parking than grounds, absolutely.
So it's just a tremendous event out there. Now, let's go back to the beginning. How did this idea even come about? That you thought, gosh, let's do everything out in the woods and everybody will come.
Build it and they will come.
Yeah.
That's, I guess.
Yeah.
My husband was building crafts and going around to other shows in the area and other states, and would just come home and just, hey, there's more. I can do more.
That'll wear you down.
Yeah, he's traveling every week.
Yes.
And he'd come back, and one day he says, we're having a festival. We're having our own show. I said, where? Back in our woods? Hence, Backwoods.
Be careful what you wish for, because now, 25. So the first year had good turnout?
We thought it did.
Yes.
At the time.
It was
absolutely.
big 25 years ago.
25 years ago, it was very big. It was more than a craft show. It was an event then. But
and he knew a lot of people to contact. That was a big advantage, I'd say, for you
absolutely,
all. Because
with him
he had some contacts.
Correct. From doing shows and being,
right.
And he went out to shows and begged.
Yeah.
Begged.
With Kathy Launder. Kathy is kind of the director and head person that runs this up. It's on their land up there in Thornville. Arts, craft, food, music. It's the Backwoods Fest. Everybody knows about this up in Thornville. It's this weekend, September 17, 18, and 19, 8 to 6 on Friday and Saturday,
correct.
8 to 5 on Sunday,
correct.
$10 to get in, free parking. It's just a great family event, too. I mean, there's so much there for the kids to see, and, if you want to bring your children to kind of get them away from their Xbox and get them out of the basement playing on something, this is really Americana.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
The start of the fall season, pumpkins, mums.
Cider, hay rides, everything
yes.
is. Has there been anything new you've added this year that you haven't had in the past?
I can't think right offhand. I'm sure there is a lot of new vendors, and they bring new stuff.
Yeah.
Food, we're pretty stuck on the food
what people
buy.
You get an idea of what
we like to have different things.
Yeah. And the music, what kind of bands do you have?
Mostly bluegrass.
Yeah.
Mostly bluegrass.
Are they ongoing one after the other?
Yes, but they're in different areas of the woods.
So they could be going on at the same time?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Several, 2 or 3, 4 going on at the same time. So as you're walking through the woods, you can stop and listen.
You might hear a banjo?
You might hear a banjo.
A lot of acoustic picking and grinning and
absolutely.
going on. Well, again, it's just a tremendous event you've got going on there. The Backwoods Fest this weekend, September 17, 18, 19, 8 to 6 on Friday and Saturday, 8 to 5 on Sunday. Is it backwoodsfest.com?
But you have to put the Backwoods Fest.
The Backwoods Fest. Well, it should be but it's the backwoodsfest.com. Kathy, thanks for coming in. It's just a tremendous event, and we'll hope for good weather, because that's the only thing that's out of your control.
That is the only thing out of our control.
But you do your best, I know.
Yep.
Backwoods Fest this weekend. Get out there and see that. We'll be back in just a moment.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area where the fountain is and the memorials and the flags and all this stuff. And we looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
The moment that you're told that you have cancer, so many things were going through my mind.
I had this pain that kind of doubled over, and FMC got me the help that I needed, so I ended up surviving.
Fairfield Medical Center has helped me get through what was the hardest 6 months of my life.
When I first came to Fairfield Medical Center, she was probably having an allergic reaction. They saved her life, and that's why she's here today.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Hi, I'm Amanda Wattenberg, Regional Director at Ohio Guidestone. Do you or does someone you know have a substance abuse disorder? Have you been thinking about getting help, but don't know where to start? It takes a lot of courage to ask for help, but it's the most important step you can take. If you think you know everything that's available in Fairfield County, think again. Like other chronic diseases, addiction can be managed successfully. Treatment enables people to counteract addiction's powerful, disruptive effects on the brain's behavior and regain control of their lives. Even if it takes multiple attempts, treatment does work and people do recover from addiction every day. So keep trying because your life matters. You matter, and we're here to help. Call 211 and ask for the treatment resources available right here in Fairfield County.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
Life is unpredictable. That's why estate planning is important. Estate planning provides you comfort and peace of mind knowing that you're taking care of your loved ones and ensuring your legacy lives on just as you envisioned. You lived a life that is beautifully and uniquely yours. You deserve an estate planning attorney who understands that and creates a plan as unique as you and in the best interest of your loved ones. You deserve the local, trusted, experienced attorneys at Dagger Law.
My name is Ernest Elton Keaton, Ernie, 11th month, 15th day of 1947. I have a very interesting life. I worked for 51 years. It just come to me, what I wanted to do. Come a long way with all the pictures I've taken. I enjoy doing it to make people not sad, but happy. You know, and I have. I'm trying to do the best I can, be kind to people and everything. So I try my very best to do what's right and not wrong. It'd be a boring world if everybody did be everything. Same thing, same lights, you know. It'd be a boring world, I think.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Fairfield Today. Paul Jackson with you. We'll change it up a little bit and talk to a young lady that we've talked to, I guess it was just several months ago. We talked to Amy Carpenter, and I think that name is synonymous with her pooch and her best friend, Hank. Everybody who knows Hank. I'd like to welcome Amy back. Amy Carpenter, thank you.
Thank you for
having us. And we have well, we're not under law enforcement yet, but the show's not over. We'll see. We have Sheriff Alex Lape with us. And Sheriff, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And I think now we both know what a force Amy is. When she exerts her will and she wants to get something done, it generally gets done.
Yeah, she's pretty persistent. She has her ways to accomplish things.
She'd been a good deputy, I think. She would enforce her will on about anybody that tried to cross her.
Well, I'd probably be answering a lot of questions.
A lot of phone calls.
Right.
That's right.
Well, anyway, Amy Carpenter is with us, and again, we know about Amy and Hank. We talk about that. The big race was just recently. I don't know if it was a month ago or...
It was in July.
July, so a couple months ago down at the Fairgrounds. That went well?
Oh, it went wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we raised $2,783.
Nice. And for those who may not know, she lost her dog, I don't know, 6, 7...
It was in 2014.
14, so let's say 7 years ago. And she's been on a quest since then to get rid of cancer in dogs. Is it sarcoma?
Sarcoma.
Sarcoma, a type of cancer that's in dogs. And she's done just countless fundraisers and different things to bring, not only raise money, but bring awareness to dogs and to people who are involved in that too, who have that type of cancer. And the one that she's had tremendous success with over the years is a calendar. I'll hold this up, but Shane's got a shot of it. She's got a new calendar out. It's the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, hence Sheriff Lape with us today. Pooches and Patrol, helping animals against cancer. Knowledge is power. So it's got a great cover with the sheriff, and it always helps when you have somebody that's a dog person, as I am. And obviously the sheriff is. He has his 2 schnauzers on there. And do they rule the roost in your house?
They do. I refer to them as my hillbilly alarm system.
Yes.
You don't have to put batteries in them. They just go.
You don't need ADT. You've got your own performance here. Well, they're beautiful little puppies. Again, we've got a shot up here, and we'll show that. They're your security patrol at your house.
Yep.
And this is, so you've done calendars long enough now, Amy, that this is your second time around with the Sheriff's Department, but the first with Sheriff Lape.
Yeah, and so I have some friends that are going to be retiring, and of course we have a new sheriff, and I was like, why can't we do the same calendar again? You know, it's like, I'm in charge, so I can do what I want. You can do what you want.
And again, it helps when he's a dog person himself.
Exactly.
So when she came to you and kind of put out this story here, again, I'm sure you're somewhat familiar because you were a deputy, I'm assuming the first time when she did this under Sheriff Phelan a few years ago. And I guess your job, a big part of it is PR, public relations around the community. That's the sheriff, the police chief. They do a lot of that, and I'm sure you looked at this as just another good way to link up with a real good cause.
Yeah, I think it's a great community outreach, community partnership with the outpouring from the community at the events with respect to the calendar is tremendous. Actually, I was the Patrol Bureau commander the first time we did this, so I was a lieutenant then. But prior to that, I was in the community services, so I recognized the fact that how you can get some things accomplished with the support of the community, and it's a good thing to partner and get other folks involved in these type of efforts.
Sure. And Amy, I know we've had 2 times around now with the Sheriff's Department. I know the fire department, the police, the schools.
Yep.
Anybody else?
The hospital.
Yeah, that was one of the early ones.
Yeah,
Fairfield Medical.
I'm thinking, who's bigger than the sheriff's office, the police, the school?
You've had all the big dogs.
Hospital.
There is no doubt about it.
I need a new idea.
And I haven't looked inside the calendar. I purposely haven't looked in here yet. So what do we see? Do we see deputies with their puppies on each month?
Yes. So there's deputies with their puppies each month, and there's actually 2 of our officers. So we have Sean Malloy and Carr. So he's with the sheriff's office. He's our canine officer. And we also have Chris and Lily, and they're for major crimes.
Yeah.
So their dogs is their working dogs, but everyone else is just their pet.
And that working dog aspect, is that something that's turned out to be a great thing for the sheriff's department?
Well, it's always been since way before my time. I think the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office was the first agency within Fairfield County to have a canine unit. And we've always had canines, and we've had some more at other times, and
sure.
now we have less, but we're looking to expand that program again. It's a real benefit to the community as far as informational, as far as the service that they can provide. For instance, Carr, one time we had a 3-year-old child that was lost in a cornfield.
Yeah.
And if you can imagine trying to look through
like a maze, eh?
Yeah, and within minutes he had located him and found him. So they have that ability. They have the narcotic ability detection. So, and they do handler protection. So it's kind of like you have a bit more of a backup with you when you're out on different calls.
And I don't know how long ago it was, maybe 15, 20 years ago, I was at a meeting of a club I was in, and we had a deputy there with his dog, and this was a narcotics dog. And I'm thinking, a narcotics dog? What in the world is going on here? Right. But, they do the thing they do in public. They put some illegal substance in somebody's pocket. Bang, that dog is like a bullet right to that.
Oh, yeah.
So I imagine what you've seen over the years has been phenomenal. And now how much more they do.
Oh, yeah. It's a valuable investment to make. I think our dogs are trained in such a way that they can interact with preschool, kindergarten children.
Great as that.
They love Carr.
They're working dogs, but when they go home, they're part of the family also. So a lot of our deputies have small children, so they interact with them. And I don't know that we necessarily would have a canine that couldn't function in that capacity. So it's important to me for the community engagement piece of things that we'd be able to interact with the small children, people of all ages in the community that are dog lovers.
Amy, I imagine when you go to talk to someone like you did the sheriff here, or police chief, or Chief Ward, or back then Steve Wigton with the schools, or any Jack Genoso at Fairfield Medical, I imagine these people were almost immediately, they were all in, because they see this as a great, as the sheriff just indicated, a great opportunity to pair up with a really good cause.
Yeah, they do. And I always try to make a connection with them as well. And so like the year that we did the fire calendar, so there's an organization called Skin Love, and basically it was started by a firefighter who got skin cancer. And a lot of firefighters get sarcoma, which is the same kind of cancer. And then when I did the calendar with the school system, a lot of children get sarcoma. Oh. So dogs get it 5 times more than people, and the second most common is children.
5 times?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so I always try to do some type of connection with them to let them know this is pertinent to you as well.
Now, you've done this for a lot of years. We've done the calendars maybe for 7 years, 7 years, somewhere in there, and you've done tons of fundraising. You ever have any idea about how much money you've ever raised? Did you ever think about that? Because every event has its own, beginning and end, so I'm sure it's been thousands and thousands of dollars.
Oh, it has, and I'm sorry I don't have an exact amount, but it's thousands, because we started Hank's organization, I think, in 2015, and we do the race every year, which brings a couple thousand, a couple thousand since then, and then our calendar raises a couple thousand each year, and we do yard sales every month in the summer, so it's in the thousands. I'm not exactly sure.
And I would think that in this calendar, Pooches in Patrol, the new sheriff's calendar that's out for 2022, I would think it would be hard to pare it down to 12.
Oh, it was.
I mean, because you've got a lot of deputies. I don't know how many deputies.
Well, there's 110.
So you're going to have a lot more than 12 dogs.
Oh, yes. So I did my homework before I met with Sheriff Lape, And I got everyone on board before I went there. And I said, okay, if you'll let me do this, I already have everyone booked.
Made it pretty easy.
Yeah, so he couldn't really say no.
The other interesting aspect of this calendar this time, in my opinion, because I'm kind of a novice historian of the county, so the other piece that sold me on it was the fact that she wanted to do each month in a photo shoot at one of the Fairfield County historic parks.
And that was his great idea.
That's a good thing.
You know,
and you're in front of the Stonewall Cemetery,
Exactly.
which doesn't get enough recognition.
Right.
It doesn't, and I found it odd that she picked that location for me.
Because it's big and strong like the
Oh,
sheriff.
that's what
that's
she
it,
said.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it. Good
That's what I was
appreciated that.
thinking.
I appreciated that.
So you picked out you had all the designees
I did.
and who had their dogs. You did your homework early.
Yeah. And you know what happened? After I finished the last photo shoot, I was like, do I make this a 12-month calendar, a 15-month calendar, like when we did the fire department? And I was kind of at a standstill, and a couple people couldn't do it. So I filled them in. Just as soon as I turned in the calendar and finished the deadline, you didn't ask me to be in the calendar. I have a dog. Well, I have a dog too, and I'm like, oh no, I got to do another one here in the near future.
Part 2 coming up, Sheriff. I mean, it won't be another 6 or 7 years.
I told him I would write their name down for the next time. So
I think there's other options too, other than just a calendar.
There
So
we go.
can talk about that later.
there we go. I like
Nice.
that.
You've got a real fan here that's very supportive of
He is,
your
and
cause.
What I love about Alex is he's so into the community. Like, he's a hands-on sheriff. Like, if you look at his Facebook page, he's everywhere, all over the place. Every weekend he's out doing something, and there's not a lot of people that do that, not a lot of sheriffs that do that, and he takes a lot of pride in what he does.
And I'm sure early on, Sheriff, you years ago, as somebody that's come up through the ranks and has watched the good things that have happened by your bosses and some missteps, everybody has those, but I'm sure you've come up with the ideas that you think you wanted to do if this opportunity ever came, and now you're the sheriff, and you say, now I can put my imprint on this.
Right, you see the things that work and maybe things that don't work so well.
Yeah.
So
All well-intentioned, but everything doesn't always have a
right.
great outcome, but everything's worth trying once or twice, but getting involved in the community, as she said, getting out there and your face out there just humanizes your force, because I know you don't want any, especially young people, to be afraid to come up to anybody on your force.
Right. And that's our goal, to get out there and just relate to the community. My plans for the future are to expand that even greater, in an even greater fashion. So.
Now, where can they get the calendars?
So there's a couple options. They can go to our website, and that's the Hank Kabel Sarcoma Foundation.com, and Kabel is Kabel.
Just type that in, you'll find it. It'll get you
come
there.
up.
Yeah.
So that's the first option. They can text me, and my number is 740-974-2811, and they can also go to, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, Fowler Feed. I always pronounce that wrong.
Oh, Fowler.
Yes.
Fowler, yeah.
So they can go to them in Lithopolis as
Very
well.
good.
They're one of the supporters of our calendar.
How nice.
Yeah.
Well, Sheriff, with your puppies up there, it's good to see you, Zoe, and Tucker out in front of the Stonewall Cemetery there. Pooch is in patrol. It's the 2022 calendar with the Hank Kabel Sarcoma fundraising behind it, 2022. You heard the locations. Look them up, find it. It's a great cause. Thanks for pairing with her on this.
Thank you.
We're big supporters of what she does with puppies. Obviously, you love it too. So best of luck, and we'll have you back on here, and we'll talk sheriff stuff. But it's fun to have you on, talk PR with Amy.
Yep, look forward to it.
Very good. Alex Lape, the sheriff, Amy Carpenter from the Kabel Foundation, raising money for that. We're glad you're with us. Thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.